Welcome to another edition of Scott on Security. I'm Scott Beck, CEO of Beck Tech, co-star of the Amazon Prime documentary Cybercrime, and had an interesting question asked today, and I thought, maybe others may have similar questions, so I'm going to address it. Basically, it was a business owner saying, hey, how are people, scammers, hackers, cyber criminals, how do they know to send an email saying it's from me to my finance person or to management or to whomever, trying to get them to respond? How do they know that I'm the CEO, and how do they know who to email? And it's a very legitimate question. So let's break this down. So what they're talking about is CEO fraud or business email fraud. And the premise of it is, I'm a bad guy, and I know who you are and what your position is in the business. So then I send Sally in finance an email saying, hey, Sally, I'm going into a meeting, but we have this opportunity. I need you to wire $10,000 to this account before I get out. And the reason they're saying they're going into a meeting so that Sally's not going to try to reach out and find out what's going on. It's a very slick maneuver and a pivot. And if people don't realize, the email address might say it had my name on it, but the actual sending address could have been johnsmith@gmail.com. It might say Scott Beck, but the sending email address is actually different. And a lot of people aren't checking to see what the actual email address is, and this is kind of how it fools. But going back to the question of this business owner was, how do the bad guys know my name, and how do they know who my finance person is? Well, there's four main ways that this is going to happen. One, a lot of companies on their websites list corporate members or team members, especially ownership, senior management. Great place if I'm trying to be a hacker and get into somewhere for me to grab intelligence. And the other thing, especially in Canada, you may or may not want to put your email address on your website, because if your email address is on your website, then that's considered that you're looking to have people email you, and you fall outside of the do not email list for commercial activity. Or in Canada, it's called Castle. In the States, there's different privacy things. But on your website, you've laid out the whole tree of your organization, usually for your senior management, contact information. So it becomes very easy for them to go, that guy's the owner, and that person's the one that's in charge of the money, and now they know how to do it. Number two is LinkedIn. Most people on LinkedIn are going to list what company they work for. They'll also put in what the position title is. So if I'm searching for you and your company is Apex Industries, I look up Apex Industries, and on there I can see all the people that have attached themselves, their profiles to the company. And oh, look, there's Mr. CEO, and there's the bookkeeper, and there's the CFO, and there's the manager of operations. Whatever the case is, LinkedIn, it's great for business and trying to build your sales list or your contact list. It's also a great intelligence network for the cyber criminals to try to find out about you. The third way is someone that you've emailed has been hacked. So let's say I've emailed you and your email account has been hacked. Well, the hackers now have everything that was in your email account. They know who's emailed you, they see what my signature looks like, and that can be a stepping stone to reach back to send out emails. And of course, the fourth way is if your email account has actually been breached. Now, for the person I was talking to today, the scam email was saying it was coming from their name, but a different email address. So normally number four doesn't happen. If number four is occurring, it means the bad guys are in your email address, and the sending email address would be your name with your actual email address. Okay, so if it's not your name and your email address, it's likely not four. Most likely it's number one, the website, or number two, LinkedIn, and that's where they're getting the information to then do these kind of attacks, and my industry would call them spear phishing. Somebody's taken a little bit of time to learn about your organization specifically, and they've crafted up a spear phishing email specifically to try to target someone in your organization to react. And they're going to use all the regular tools, emotions. They're going to try to hide themselves. As I said, I'm going into a meeting. You can't reach me. Please get this done by the time I'm out. They're going to use all those kind of tricks. So it's super important, once again, that I'm going to mention that in your company, you should have something in place that if there's a request for financial transfers. If there's a request for transfer for very sensitive information, like, hey, I need all the T4s in Canada or all the W4 information of the employees sent to me, okay, that could be another warning sign. That stuff, A, shouldn't be sent by email, but 2, it could be another stepping stone that the bad guys are doing. The policy you should have in place is someone should pick up the phone and actually call the person that sent it. Hey, Mr. CEO, did you just send me an email to transfer this $44,000, $10,400, whatever the case is? Did you send me that email? If they're in a meeting, they'll wait, and they'll appreciate the fact that you did not do it until you can contact them. Or get up out of your chair and walk down the hall. Now, the bad guys know during the pandemic, a lot of people are still working from home, and they're trying to take advantage of that because they know for some folks, they can't get out of the chair and walk down the hallway. And if that's the case, you should never, ever, ever transfer that money or send that private information until you get the person on the phone on the other line and say, hey, Bill, did you just send me that email asking for that money transfer or for that private information? Bill says yes, good to go, no harm, no foul. You send what needs to get done. If he goes, what are you talking about? You just saved the company a lot of time and a lot of aggravation. Hey, be safe out there.